Hey everybody, Esteban with Undercover Coatings here, and on this video I'm going to teach you how to recover from a drip, spill, or run on a dipped vehicle without having to peel and start from scratch. Okay, so right here we have our test hood, masked off just a small area just to give you the idea. But if you've ever been dipping a car, say on a large panel like a hood, and several coats in, 5-6 coats, you're just about finished, all of a sudden you have a drip come from the gun, land smack on the hood, what are you going to do? I mean, you really don't want to peel the whole surface because that's a ton of product that you wasted. If you've ever tried to use thinners and smear out that little area, smooth it down, or give it a naphtha bath, it doesn't quite come out right. So this is our method here. It's not going to work for everybody, but I wanted to pass it along. So check it out. Basically what we're going to do is the regular prep stuff that you should already know. Wipe it down with pre-dip or alcohol or whatever you decide to choose. I'm going to lay down about 5 coats, and then I'm going to purposefully spill something on it and show you how we recover from it here. So stay tuned. Okay, now that I have some black base coats down, I'm going to throw this pearl coat over the top of it. Honestly, I have no idea what this mix is. It's about 2.5, 3 years old, but we're just going to go ahead and roll with that. Basically, the reason I'm doing that is because doing just a solid color repair is much easier than if you're going to do a base coat, pearl coat repair. And this, however, is going to be more common to most dippers out there because pearls are so popular these days. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up, spray some coats on, and get going with it. Okay, now we got 2 pearl coats down over the black base, and I'm just going to go ahead and simulate a run, a drip, splatter, whatever. Just pour it right on there. Take you in closer, you can see nice nastiness, not fun. Alright, so as you can see, we have a wet coat of dip down already, and then I just did the drip, so now we have a big splatter right here. After you're done jumping around, cussing, and everything else, what you want to do first is come back with the spray using the same mix that you had originally, and what I'm going to do is just heavily spray it and push it toward an edge. you can see right here on this edge here, it's starting to come toward that end. Now what you can see is that it kind of flattened out, but you can still see the ripples and edges here. Try to zoom it in for you a little better. I don't know if the quality is going to work out for me. Now you can see here in the light that you still have a little bit of a sag right here. But all in all, it's flattened out quite a bit. I do still have this one little area right over here that I'm going to have to put a little bit more product over and a second wet coat to just kind of push it toward this edge. Also, you do have a buildup right here on this edge, which we can wipe away and then touch up after the fact. It's not a big deal at this point. Right now, we're just trying to drown it out, flatten it down with heavy wet coats. Now I'm going to apply one more wet, heavy coat, keep pushing it toward this edge. Try to get everything to level out a lot smoother, and then be patient and let it dry. Once you're satisfied with how things have blended in, go over the entire area with a nice even wet coat so that everything can dry uniformly. Now we have a fully wet panel. You do still have this built up edge right here, which you can kind of just wipe away as things start to drip. But other than that, this is where the patience comes in. You have a really wet panel. It's probably going to take about 30 minutes to dry. What you want to do now is just come back every 5 to 10 minutes and monitor it. Make sure no new runs or sags have developed that you may need to hit again just to kind of wash it away. But like I said, just be patient, let it dry. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and you can see the panel is still pretty wet. But I wanted to bring to your attention this area right here. We have this run and we have some separation. Whenever you're going to apply a lot of product or thinners to the surface, you're going to have this issue where the pearls are going to begin to sag, kind of separate and show some of the base coat through it. But as you apply more product and you kind of work toward this edge right here, it's going to start to do that. And you're going to get rid of this little sag as well. So really just to be patient. Phase 1 is really just to flatten out the run. We're just trying to get everything smooth, build layers across the whole surface, and then after that we're going to come back and slowly build up color. Again, phase 1 is to just wet it out fully until the run starts to level out. Then be patient and let it dry. It's been about 10 or 15 minutes and you can see that most of the panel is dry to the touch, except for in the corner where we had the spill. Along the edge right here we do have some drips and runs, and we can just wipe those away and then spot shot that to clean it up at the end. But the big thing to watch for is this sag that we still have existing in here. We need to keep wiping it toward the edge with some wet coats. So we're going to have to come back again, make another pass. Every 5 to 10 minutes you want to kind of check on your panel and make sure you don't have anything that's going to stay, any ripples, any sags, runs like this one here. You really just want to wet it out, keep pushing it toward that edge. So what I'm going to do now is just come back and hit it with another wet pass just to keep pushing it toward that edge. You can still use some naphtha or xylene in these areas just to add to your dip to kind of help smooth it out a little bit faster. But I would kind of avoid that just because you don't want your pearls to sag any more than they already have. So just keep adding on your coats. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with one more wet pass. Another thing I noticed while editing I wanted to add in is that you need to re-liquefy the edge of the panel before you begin sweeping to it. So you can see a few passes right here before I change direction and start to sweep all the dip toward the edge. Otherwise you're going to run into a brick wall, so to speak, and you're not going to allow the dip to run over the edge of the panel. You can start to see some drips and sags running off the edge, which is exactly what you want to see. You want all the excess to go over the edge, that way you can just wipe it away and have a nice smooth panel when you're finished. Now that the panel's dry, I wanted to zoom the camera in a little bit to show you these imperfections that you should expect to see. when you're trying to drown out a panel and get rid of a sag like this. The panel is actually dried flat, so the dip is smooth, but you can still see the imperfections. You can kind of see the base coat kind of showing through. You can see the pearl sag. And now phase 2 is going to be to fill in all of this here. And the way we're going to do that is have some dust coats. We're going to spray dust coats over this affected area so that we can get even color coverage. And then after that, what we're going to do is spray the entire panel uniformly with one wet coat, possibly 2 wet coats, to get uniform color coverage across the entire panel. So now we're going to move on, like I said, to the dust coats, and I'll show you how that's done. Alright, for phase 2, what you're going to see is I'm going to dial the gun down all the way until it's just spraying a little bit of product out. Just as soon as it starts spraying is where you want to set it. Now I'm just going to dust coat the panel and then let the air from the turbine go ahead and dry what I already sprayed, and continue on doing that and layering up color. Basically all you're doing is just trying to apply color, not apply product, just a little bit of color. If there's any time in the process that you would need thinners, this would be it. Basically you want to avoid having your product spray dry and create texture while you're doing this. Luckily this product was thin enough, I was able to make it spray at the minimum setting without drying in the air and drying on the panel like that. So basically I'm just dust coating it, like I said, going over a little area like this. Once it wets out, I let go of the trigger, use the air to go ahead and dry it out, and carry on doing the same process until everything looks even as far as color goes. Phase 1 flattened out the sag, and then phase 2 is just going to even out your coverage. This process took about 2.5 to 3 minutes to complete, so I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it, but I did want to show you because getting this correct is crucial to getting a good even color coverage across the entire panel. Okay, so we have our panel here. As you can see, it is dry. We have uniform color coverage across the entire panel. The area of the splatter is flat. And I wanted to point out that we did everything with do-it-yourself equipment. We didn't use any HVLP guns. We didn't use any naphtha or xylene to let everything flow out. It is possible to do it that way. It could possibly be a little easier that way. But for this experiment, I wanted to do it with the DYC sprayer and right out of the can dip, just so everybody knows at home that they can do it with do-it-yourself level equipment. Just to recap, what we did was first we drowned out the area of the spill so that everything would level out. We pushed it toward an edge. You don't have to push it toward an edge, but it does make it a little bit easier, a little bit more forgiving in that fact. Wait about 30 minutes. You don't want to rush this part. You want to let everything dry out, because if you come back too soon and the air will start moving things around, you'll have ripples that is going to be a lot harder to get out later on. After that, we come over dust coat it so that we can get even pearl color coverage over the affected area. And then finally, just to cap it off, we do a full wet coat over the entire surface so that you get uniform coverage and that you won't see the spot at all. I hope that helps somebody out there. If you have any other things that you need to address, we can knock them out in a future video. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching.